everybody. It's Self-Care Sunday again, and today's topic is self-sabotage. Be honest with yourself. Have you shot yourself in the foot when you got so close to your goal you could almost taste it, and then all of a sudden you do something to sabotage yourself? I think we all do it in one way or another. So why do we sabotage ourselves? Well, the first reason, I believe, is fear. So this could be fear of failure. If you don't try, you won't fail. So sometimes you don't even want to try, or you don't want to reach your goal because if you have a built-in excuse, like you procrastinated or you kind of did a half-assed job and you didn't really try 100%, then you have a reason to tell yourself why it failed. The fear of failure is sort of a need to protect our ego. So it's kind of like, when you're in high school and a boy wants to ask a girl to the dance and he's afraid she'll say no. Well, it's easier to protect your ego just by not even asking, not even trying, and you don't have to worry about failure. You don't have to worry about failing. So we do this to sort of protect ourselves. And also, fear of failure could be you're thinking, what if my best isn't good enough? What if I try my hardest and it's still not good enough and I still fail? So a lot of times we'll sabotage ourselves by not doing our best. The other fear is the fear of success. Have you ever thought to yourself, what happens when I do achieve my goal? I don't know if I can even picture that. What if I'm too happy? It seems crazy to think that, but sometimes we kind of do think that to ourselves. What if I am too happy? Do I even deserve to be that happy? Do I deserve to achieve my goals? So a lot of times there's that fear of success because the known is much easier than the unknown. And that goes right along with fear, is fear of the unknown. So a lot of times we don't want to take risks. We don't want to be vulnerable. We want control, and we know how to live the way we're currently living, and that makes us feel like we have control. If we sabotage ourselves, we feel like we have control. Well, I didn't try that hard, so. Also, we want to feel safe. We want to stay in our comfort zone, and any kind of change can cause anxiety. So we want to avoid anxiety at all costs. Those are all the fearful reasons why we sabotage ourselves. The second reason I think we sabotage ourselves, I'm going to call it identity. So being successful or achieving your goals, maybe it doesn't even fit your existing story in your head of who you are. Maybe it's incongruent with the person you think you are, and therefore it's hard to fight it. It's hard to even change those things. We don't believe we deserve success. The known versus the unknown again. So we know our life as it is now, and we're kind of comfortable with that. Success is unknown, and that's scary. Then there's the imposter syndrome. What's going to happen when people find out that I don't really know what I'm doing? What if they find out that I'm just faking it and I'm really not this successful person? It doesn't fit with my identity. You're scared of being found out. And also, as part of our identity, we have limiting beliefs and thoughts about ourselves and thoughts about who we are. You're just this person, you're just average, you're not that successful person, so don't even try. These are all thoughts that we have. This is our self-talk that we need to start noticing. So, how can we stop sabotaging ourselves? The first thing we can do is become aware of what we're doing. So, recognize when you're doing it. This goes along with the insight, this goes along with knowing yourself. So being able to recognize when you're talking to yourself this way. Identifying the self-sabotaging behaviors and the triggers. And then think about, can those triggers be removed? So the triggers may be a person, it may be a situation that happens, it may even be a thought that triggers you to sabotage yourself. And then recognizing what are your limiting beliefs. So a lot of times there will be patterns that we can notice in our self-talk and our limiting beliefs about ourselves. There are associations that we've made in our mind. And so becoming aware of those associations, like when you think about success, maybe you're associating that with something scary. When you think about status quo, maybe you're associating that with comfortable. Just noticing what your automatic thoughts are is going to be part of becoming aware. Also, you need to do some self-reflection to gain insight and get perspective and to know what needs to change. And a lot of us maybe haven't taken the time to think about this. And so as you find out what you want to change, you will make mistakes. And so you're going to learn from your mistakes, you're going to adjust things and try again. And along the way, you may want to ask for feedback from your friends. A lot of times our friends know us or recognize behaviors in us more than we actually do in ourselves. So if you have a trusted friend, you may ask them for advice and accountability as you're trying to make these changes. And then finally, part of becoming aware is going to be finding your why. Why do you want to make these changes? Why do you want a better life for yourself? When you figure out your why, it's going to help your motivation and you're going to create incentives to change. All right, so becoming aware, that's the first reason why, or how we can stop sabotaging ourselves. The second thing is making changes. So actually starting to make these changes. This may be recreating old patterns, old comfortable ways of behaving and thinking, replacing old behaviors, trying new things, remembering your reasons, remembering your incentives, remembering your why. And then you can't wait until you feel like it, because you're never gonna feel like it. You've just got to force yourself to do it now. You've got to face your fears, don't delay. If it's important to you, you start now. Part of making changes is going to be expanding your perspective and looking at the big picture, not getting bogged down in the details. And then I think it's kind of fun to look at it as an experiment. Like, I'm going to try some new things and see what happens. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. And part of that is changing your thinking, replacing old beliefs with more true and empowering beliefs. And so the third, instead of writing it down, I'm just going to say third step to stop sabotaging ourselves is to practice. So you've become aware of these things, you've made changes, now you need to practice. So part of this is a mental practice, imagining how it will feel when you've achieved your goal. Maybe you haven't even taken the time to sit there and think about it and imagine it and try to feel the emotions that you'll have when you are successful. The other thing to do, you're going to keep trying, you're going to keep learning, you're going to keep tweaking things, you're going to just Keep trying over and over again. Be persistent. Don't give up easily. And you're going to practice until a habit is formed. This takes a lot of work. And also, you need to be flexible with yourself. Sometimes circumstances change. Sometimes conditions change. Sometimes resources change. It may take longer, or it may be a quicker process. So you've got to be flexible and remember your why and remember what your goals are. And finally, the most important thing, I think, is to have compassion with yourself. Because we're all human. We're going to screw up. We're going to sabotage ourselves along the way. If we do it, we just need to jump back in there and start working toward our goals again. And really, do some reflection and realize why you think this way, what you believe you deserve, who you think you are, what you're scared of, and just start taking the steps to make those changes. So if you've done this, leave me comments and let me know what you think. I know we've all done it, so let's just be honest with ourselves. And I will see you guys again next week on Self-Care Sunday. Take care.